Welcome back. You're watching Global Lens on News9 Live with me, Neha Khanna. For days now on this show, we've been talking about extreme weather events in many different parts of the world induced by climate change. And this is a story that refuses to go away from the headlines. Thousands of locals and tourists from villages in the southeast of the Aegean island have been evacuated on the Greek island of Rhodes amid ongoing wildfires that have raged out of control. They started 6 days ago and the wildfires are still raging. Local officials say they have moved some 30,000 people who were threatened by the wildfires to safer places. Tourists and locals have been taken to schools, gyms and conference centers inside hotels on the Rhodes Island. The regional governor of the South Aegean region said the rescue operations have been hampered by the fires cutting off road access. The Greek Foreign Ministry has said it has activated its crisis management unit to facilitate the evacuation of foreign citizens amid the forest fires. A number of locations on the eastern side of the island have been evacuated, including 3 seaside resorts, while around 2,000 tourists have been evacuated from Kyotere and Lardos from the southern east coast of the island. A large part of Rhodes Island still remains without electricity as the public power utility shut down the local plant, citing safety reasons. At least 3 passenger ferries have been sent to the port of Rhodes to accommodate those rescued, and a Greek naval boat is also headed to the area. The Greek Foreign Ministry and various foreign embassies in Greece are setting up stations at the Rhodes airport to help tourists who have lost their travel documents in the scramble to evacuate. The United Kingdom's Foreign Office has deployed a rapid deployment team to Rhodes to support the British nationals trapped on the island. British, French, German and Dutch citizens were amongst the highest numbers of tourists present on the Rhodes Island, which can receive as many as 150,000 visitors during peak season, while the resident population is merely 125,000. The European Union has said it is trying its best to provide as much help as possible to the Greek government in the rescue operations. Firefighters are currently tackling more than 80 wildfires that are currently raging across Greece. This is the largest evacuation effort ever undertaken in the country's history. Those caught up in the blaze described chaotic and frightening scenes, with some having to leave on foot or find their own transportation after being told to leave. The wildfire in the central and southern part of Rhodes Island, a hugely popular island with holidaymakers, has been burning since last Tuesday. It is the largest number of blazes in Greece, which is sweltering due to a heat wave that experts say is likely to become the country's longest on record. According to Greek authorities, several parts of the country have been placed under a state of alarm due to the extreme risk of fire. In capital Athens, visiting hours for the Acropolis and other archaeological sites have been revised due to soaring temperatures. The longest continuous heat wave that Greece has faced was 12 days long back in July 1987. Temperatures in Athens this summer could possibly break the city's all-time record, which was set in June 2007 when Athens registered 44.8 degrees Celsius. Large parts of the northern hemisphere have seen fierce temperatures, with Europe seeing dramatic shifts from one form of extreme weather to another. Scientists are warning that the extreme weather may only be a preview of what is to come as the planet continues to warm. They say the weather extremes will continue to become more intense and our weather patterns could change in ways that we can't predict yet. Speaking of climate change, if one major part of the world is reeling under unprecedented heat waves and wildfires, another part is dealing with massive floods. The flood situation in Canada is grim. Torrential downpours started on Friday across the Halifax region, dumping more than 200 millimeters of rain in some areas. The port city typically receives about 90 to 100 millimeters of rain during an average July. Widespread flooding has also been reported in Lunenburg County, which is west of the Halifax region. On Friday night, water levels rose so fast in the Bedford area that volunteers with Halifax Search and Rescue were using small boats to rescue people from inundated homes. In the Hammonds Plains area, northwest of the city, flooding washed out driveways and many roads. That's the same area where more than 150 homes and businesses were destroyed by a wildfire that began on the 28th of May, forcing evacuations that impacted 16,000 residents. The floods have submerged multiple vehicles, leaving 2 adults and 2 children missing. Roads, as we said, have been washed away and bridges have weakened in Nova Scotia, where a state of emergency has been announced in some areas. It could take several days for the waters to recede. More than 80,000 people were left without power at one point. Some have said parts of Canada have been hit by biblical proportions of rain. The flooding is the latest extreme weather event to hit northeast Canada. Recent wildfires have burnt a record area, sending clouds of smoke south into the United States. There's also been extreme flooding in some parts of the US this month. The body of a 2-year-old girl found along a river in Pennsylvania is believed to be one of 2 missing children swept away by flash floods last weekend. Her 9-month-old brother is still missing. In parts of Asia too, floods have had a devastating impact. At least 30 people have lost their lives and dozens of others are missing after heavy flooding from seasonal rains in Afghanistan. Its capital Kabul, the Maidan Wardak and Ghazni provinces have been badly impacted by the ongoing floods. The flooding has added further to the misery of the already suffering Afghan people. In April this year, the United Nations Humanitarian Affairs Agency said the South Asian country was facing its 3rd consecutive year of drought, its 2nd year of severe economic hardship and the consequences of decades of war and natural disasters. In Afghanistan, on an average, each year, natural disasters affect more than 200,000 people. In 2022 alone, record floods in the monsoon season temporarily flooded 1/3 of the country, killing at least 1,700 people. Talking about neighboring Pakistan, at least 13 people have died due to heavy rains and landslides in that country as well. In the northwestern province of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, at least 9 people have lost their lives. Many homes have been damaged too. Scientists cannot say for certain that such extreme rainfall is caused by climate change, but the floods are consistent with the changes they expect in a warming world. This is because the warmer the earth becomes, the more moisture the atmosphere can hold. This results in more droplets and heavier rainfall, sometimes in a shorter space of time and over a much smaller area.
Our people have been affected due to heavy flooding and a large number of public infrastructures have been destroyed. According to our preliminary reports, as a result of the flooding, 31 people have been martyred, 41 others are missing and 74 others have been injured. Also, 604 houses have been partially or completely demolished and hundreds of hectares of agriculture land were washed out.
Unprecedented heat waves, wildfires and floods that have ravaged many parts of the world all at the same time. Well, if this isn't a sign of climate change, I don't know what is. When are we going to wake up to this reality is the question that many scientists have been asking for years now. All right, time for us to take another quick break here on Global Lens, but there's lots more on the other side. When we come back, we will bring you the latest from Israel that has been rocked in recent months by nationwide protests.
मैं इमरान अहमद खान नियाजी सबके दिल से हल्फ उठाता हूँ.
When Imran Khan came initially into politics, he thought his personal popularity would be sufficient for him. It didn't happen.